On the night of the full moon, the West Wing did not feel like a home. It felt sealed. The kind of silence that waits for something to break had settled over every corridor. Elara woke to the sound of wood exploding somewhere beyond her door. Then came another crash, and under it, a low, raw sound that did not belong in a human throat. She was already backing toward the far wall when the door took a blow hard enough to tear the hinges free. It burst inward. Oak hit stone. The whole room jumped. The scent changed before her eyes could. Lavender vanished. In its place came scorched air, wet iron, and the bitter edge of blood gone wrong. Kaelen stood in the doorway, but only in the simplest sense. His shirt hung open. Black veins pulsed up his chest and throat. When he lifted his head, the blue in his eyes had drowned in molten gold.
Kaelen, what are you doing? Stay back.
He took one step, then another. Elara pressed herself flat to the wallpaper, waiting for claws, for teeth, for the end. But when he reached the bed, his knees gave out. The man who commanded armies dropped hard to the floor like the strength had simply been cut from him. His hands reached for her, not to seize, not to drag. Trembling fingers only found the hem of her gown. He pulled the silk toward him and bowed his head until his burning forehead touched her bare ankle.
Elara, it hurts. Don't push me away.
You're freezing. You're shaking.
Please, just let me stay here. Just let me breathe.
Elara stood frozen over him. The monster had not come to kill her. Whatever mind the curse had burned through tonight, his body had still found one thing in the dark it trusted enough to crawl toward: her scent. He buried his face deeper against the silk, breathing in cedar and rust from the shard at her throat. In that locked room, the world turned upside down. The king knelt in the dark and begged a captive girl for one more breath. Dawn slid through the curtains like a blade. The storm had passed. Elara sat upright on the edge of the bed, sore, sleepless, and at her feet, Kaelen finally opened his eyes. For a moment, he did not move. The pain was gone. The black fire in his veins had gone quiet. All he could smell was cedar, rust, and the fragile peace of having survived beside her. Blue returned to his eyes. Something almost human loosened in his face. Then every line of him went rigid. Outside the door, a floorboard gave the faintest complaint. Not an accident, not servants. Two people stood absolutely still in the corridor, trying not to breathe loud enough to be heard. Spies. The council had sent men to smell out weakness. Kaelen understood the danger in one brutal instant. If they learned what she was to his curse, Elara would not live to see nightfall.
Put away that look, Elara. Did you mistake last night for kindness?
I only wanted to help. You looked like you were dying.
Help me? You? Don't flatter yourself. Your blood only happens to dull the edge of the poison. That's all you are in this house. A tool. Useful. Replaceable.
Elara's face lost what little warmth it had. She did not defend herself. She only lowered her eyes, as if the floor might be easier to bear than his voice.
Get out, and wipe that expression off your face before the guards see it.
She left without another word. The door shut between them with a dull wooden thud. Then the lock clicked, and the room was his again. The instant that lock turned, the performance died. Kaelen caught the back of a chair so hard the wood groaned under his hand. Veins stood out across the back of his hands. In the silence, the tiny cracking shifts of his knuckles were audible, bone protesting the force he was using not to tear the door back open.
Elara.
He sank to his knees in the middle of the room and stayed there, breathing like a drowning man. The last traces of her scent were already thinning in the air, and he hated himself enough to let them go.